Greetings one and all, my name is Lancer and welcome back to another Bingecap. As always, we will be doing yet another recap for what I personally chose to watch for the summer 2024 season. And right off the bat, I'm gonna say, surprisingly, this was the season of romance. You figured that would have been more in the winter season, but pretty much everything that I consistently watched this year has an element of romance to it. There are some things, of course, that don't, but that is the overall average here. Which, of course, me being the romance anime buff that I am, I'm all for it. Surprisingly, I did not watch a whole lot this season. I stuck to a lot of the bigger ones. That was lightning. Hopefully it doesn't strike a power line and cut my power. So let's make this quick. But again, how we normally do these is that I talk about the stuff I didn't really like that much this season, and then we go further and further along, ending out with what was ultimately my favorite. So let's get started. Surprisingly, there wasn't that much that I flat out hated. There's just stuff I didn't really finish. So I guess we'll talk about that stuff. I guess we'll start with the one that I really just did not finish, which was 2.5 Dimensional Seduction. After a disastrous romantic confession, Masamune Okamura finds solace in the fictional world of anime and manga. Now a second-year student and president of the Manga Research Club, he spends his peaceful existence watching adventures of the angel Liliel, his favorite character. And long story short, this girl who weirdly has the same fascinations as him shows up and she cosplays as that character, and then there's different characters that come in. It's like a love triangle harem kind of story. Now, I have only watched the first episode of this. I am interested to see more of it. I'm surprised that it's going to be a 24 episode show, at least maybe this first season of it. I haven't dropped it. I just haven't come back to it. I like the style. I like the idea. I gather it's pretty much going to be discount My Dress Up Darling with some more lewd elements to it. All I can really judge it off of is just the first episode, which the first episode was at least engaging, sort of, albeit kind of slow, I feel like. But for right now, I can only give it an ironic score of 2.5 out of 10. And again, that's not because I hated it. It's just mainly because I have not come back to it. But I do have desire to continue watching it. Next up, we'll do Love is Indivisible by Twins. Ooh, perfect. A short synopsis. Jun Shirasaki and the Jinguji sisters are childhood friends and neighbors. When Jun's first girlfriend, the older sister Rumi, breaks up with him, she says something that complicates the three people's relationship. Their first loves and their romance, and it just ends there for some reason. Let me go to the Crunchyroll synopsis. As feelings grow and confusion mounts, Jun must navigate this unexpected love triangle next door. And that's pretty much what this is. It's a love triangle. I mean, I'll give respect to it. It's a romance that doesn't waste time. He just gets right into it, where it's just like he likes both of them at different times, and then a case of the first one kind of has regrets maybe about breaking up with him after the other one starts dating him. All in all, I watched about maybe 4 episodes of this, and by watched, I mean I kind of just skim watched it, and I don't really have a desire to watch the rest. It's one of those ones that feels like it could have just been maybe a short series, half as long with maybe half the runtime. Hell, it could have even been like a short film. And again, for nothing else, the art style is kind of nice. It doesn't really pull any punches in terms of the romantic content. You know, there is some sexual energy. But other than that, as soon as I'm done making this review, I will forget about it. So overall, I'll give it a fine sort of 4 out of 10. Oh yeah, I forgot. There was one other thing that I actually did not like that I forgot to actually put on the list. And that is this one, Days with My Stepsister. Honestly, I kind of need to read the synopsis because even through watching the first couple episodes, I don't even know what it was about. He gets a new stepsister after his father remarries, happens to be #1 beauty in the school. They promise to not be close to each other, just keep a vague, comfortable distance. Their relationship progresses from strangers to friends as the days pass. This is a story that may one day lead to love. Okay. I feel like you can just read that synopsis. You get the whole story. You don't even need to watch it. Because I will say, this is a show that I saw a lot of promotion for it, like before it came out. So I was like, okay, sure. I mean, watch the first episode just because I can already see what this show was trying to be. It was trying to be just this super over-stylized story where it put a lot of stuff into its visuals, but ultimately it doesn't mean anything because all it is just, you know, these step siblings who are figuring out their feelings. Unnecessary, convoluted shit. Am I kind of just doing surface level analysis of it? Yes. Wait, this was made by Studio Dean? That's hilarious. Dean has come a long way since Fate's Day Night. But all that to say is, from just what I watched of it, it's all visuals, and not even visuals in the sense that like the animation or the art's good. It's just like the direction of it. That's the word I should be using. The shot choices, which is a nice way of saying it's boring. I was so bored watching the first episode, but the visuals, you know, the shot choice is very questionable understandable. It was just like, it's trying to be deeper than what it actually is. All that to say is I did not like this at all. I genuinely am going to give it a 2 out of 10. Because if for nothing else, it gets points for me being willing to click on it, and the shot choices were cool. But other than that, forgettable and boring. That pretty much does it for the stuff that I flat out disliked. So now we'll get into some of the more interesting stuff. Now, speaking of stuff that is pretty much all visuals, the Elusive Samurai. It's pretty much a story about this kid. Oh, he's 8 years old. Didn't gather that. He's a samurai. He's next in line to be a noble, but he's just so free-spirited. He just wants to live his own life. His clan gets wiped out. He meets up with these other kids and this one guy. And it's just kind of like this adventure hero's journey kind of thing. Ultimately, this show has way too much put into its animation and art direction. It is honestly so jarring. It's done by Cloverworks. No shocker there. I mean, this is the first Cloverworks thing I've seen that's like kind of action based. Most of their stuff is like kind of romancy. If for nothing else, just watch it for the stunning visuals and action choreography. I'm gonna be honest, that's mainly why I'm watching this. I don't really care about the story of the characters because it actually is just such a treat. And yet it still kind of has like that kind of gritty, grainy, could make believe that it came out a longer time ago, like 20 years ago. And it gave me vibes of stuff like Dororo as well. And yeah, someone who has more patience than me can find appreciation maybe for the story and the characters, but I ultimately just kind of fast forward until there was an action scene. Still not done, but I'll be honest, I don't really have a desire to finish it. I mean, I'll watch it for the animation and stuff, but overall, I leave it as kind of just a simple 6 out of 10. Animation art though, 10 out of 10. I do recommend it though. Okay, normally this would kind of be something I save for the end, just because I think overall this was kind of one of the more popular things that came out this season, but we'll just talk about it now just because we're talking about stuff I didn't really like. And that is Shiko Noko 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 Kosh Tan Tan. You'll never know the time I put into learning that stupid dance. And even then I can't do it correctly. Do I even need to talk about this? It's so funny that there's people who were telling me that I should have reacted to this, and I was tempted. And after having watching this now, I'm glad I didn't commit to it. Again, basic plot synopsis. There's this girl, Kosh-tan. She used to be a delinquent. She's starting her high school debut. She's like, I'm a pretty good girl now. She meets this girl, Shikanoko. She's a dear girl, and it's the antics they get up to. This show, it's already been put in the same vein as stuff like Bocchi the Rock, K-On! It's a meme show. It has one joke, and it just plays with that. I won't lie, first couple episodes, it was fucking funny. I'm not taking it seriously, obviously. There's a part of me that just stopped being interested in it like halfway through. I still finished it, obviously. It's just pretty much because it's like, it's the same jokes over and over again, where it's like Shikanoko she's a dear girl. She's like this god in this world. No one questions it except for Kosh-tan. And it's just that, where it's just no one in the world questions it. She's the only one who has sentience in this world. I will say the music in this was kind of funny. Just Shika, or like the Shika. And I will say how it uses the CG deers at the very beginning of it, like the first scene, it actually had me like dying of laughter. Overall, I don't care to ever see more of it. I would say a one-trick pony, but it's a one-trick deer. The visuals are funny. The OP is going to be played countless times everywhere. Fucking Shiko Noko 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 Kosh Tan Tan. The fucking hive mentality. But unlike shows like Bocchi the Rock or even K-On!, I enjoyed those because even though those are shows where the editing and the jokes in it are funny as hell, there's at least story to it where there's enough to the characters where I'm rooting for them. Whereas with this, it's kind of just, I feel like we made a story and we were trying to be funny right out the gate, where the main focus pretty much was just being comedic and there wasn't really a story. Overall, like, I'm reading way too much into this goofy ass show. It is funny sometimes, to me at least. It's just I'm somebody who's like, I can enjoy comedy just so long as there is also a story being told with it and it's not just comedy for comedy's sake. Overall though, I leave it as a simple 6.5 out of 10. I kind of want to give it a 7, but 7 kind of seems too high. It's one of those shows that's going to be memed for a little while longer, but since it's already over, it's going to fade into obscurity. And I kind of hope it stays that way. Next one, a surprise for me. My wife has no emotion. Takuma Kosugi is an office worker who does not have enough time to take care of everything at home. To make his daily life easier, he purchases a second-hand housekeeping robot named Mina, who quickly proves her worth. One day after returning from work and having one too many beers, Takuma somewhat jokingly blurts out that he should become his wife. Much to his surprise, Mina takes his words seriously, and the two gradually begin living as if they are married. And that is the story. Weirdly enough, I could have seen this as being kind of like a Makoto Shinkai film, but I mean, it also works as a show, you know? It's the antics that these two get up to. The whole point of it is just this girl who is a robot. She's a fully programmed robot. She doesn't have emotions. Her face never changes, rarely. Her mouth doesn't even move, but yet it had so much heart to it. It's one of those shows, it didn't hook me immediately, but as I found myself continuing to watch it, I was like, oh, this is really sweet. It's a nice romance. It takes some getting used to, you know, this girl who's not a girl, is a robot, a literal robot, yet she has character growth, yet she has one flat tone, monotone emotion, and it's ultimately a beautiful story. Though it's kind of weird, you know, a human falling in love with a robot. I mean, when you see her, it's hard not to. It's sad though when you kind of think of the long term of this story, just because he's going to grow old and she is a robot. It's kind of one of those ones where it's like, I'm sure it's gonna end before it ever gets to that point, so you don't really think about that. Overall, it was a very beautiful story, and honestly, I don't really need to see more of it. I feel like 12 episodes was more than enough to get the gist and understand the future of it. And if you're into one-off romance stories, just quick, concise, short, I absolutely recommend it. An easy 7 out of 10. Next one, a sequel, The Cafe Terrace and Its Goddesses Season 2. I don't know why I was weirdly looking forward to this. Season 1 of it, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't overly enjoy it, you know, I thought it was just fine. I called it the Walmart brand quintessential quintuplets, but then season 2 of this was coming out and I was like, you know what, sure. It wasn't technically season 2, it was just core 2 of season 1. Mal still has it as season 2. I will say though, season 2, way better than season 1. I mean, in the sense that it had so much progression with the characters and the girls and the romance. I mean, it's one of those things though where it's like, you have to have season 1, obviously, and season 2, but I had much more fun with this. I mean, even though there's been like, what, a year since season 1 came out? So like, there was enough time where I was just like, who are these characters again? So like, I got reacclimated to it. I was like, yeah, it's fun. I enjoyed it. Especially like all the girls pretty much right out the gate being like, yeah, we like the main guy. So how do we go about that for the next couple episodes? And the antics they get up to, of course, there's loot stuff all around. And there is genuine character growth for a lot of them. Mainly like the pink-haired girl and even the blue-haired girl. Again, I don't know names because I don't care to learn them. And it's one of those ones where maybe eventually down the line I'll delve into the manga and just see how it goes. Manga done? It's probably not done. It's not done, shocker. So maybe not. I'll wait till it's finished. You know, it's one of those ones where it's gonna be a harem. It's one of those ones where you forget about, oh yeah, they're running a cafe. Because I'm gonna be honest, when it gets to those scenes, I'm kind of just like, give me the romance. I don't really care about the work side of things. I mean, at least in this season, it introduced like the rival cafe, which is just pretty much just the carbon copy of them. It just introduced a bunch more characters into it, just literally doubled the cast. So I was just like, okay, it's gonna be an 11-some. I mean, it's fun. Do I really recommend it? Not really. I mean, now there's like 24 episodes, and at least this season it ends in a way where like one of the characters leaves, so it's like, oh, what's gonna happen then? Will that character come back? It leaves room for the other 4. I mean, out of the 5, that one was probably my least favorite. So overall, I give this second season a 7 out of 10. It was fun building off the first season, even though I didn't really like the first season that much anyway. Now we're getting into the truly good shit. Where do I even start, man? I think I'll start with this one since this one isn't finished yet. Makane? Too many losing heroines. Despite not understanding much about fleeting teen romance, first-year high school student Kazuhiko Nukumizu still wonders how he would react if his life were to turn into a love story. As a self-proclaimed background character, Nukumizu is satisfied continuing his life as an introvert, however suddenly finds himself too close to the spotlight when he witnesses his popular classmate Anna Yanamai being rejected by her childhood friend, and then Anna ends up forcefully confiding herself in Nukumizu, lamenting her status as childhood friend failed to have her love stolen. He gets caught up in the relationship drama of 2 other characters, Lemon and Komari. If for nothing else, I love the concept of this. We're sort of picking up after the main plot of a different romance story. You feel that right at the beginning of the first episode where he sees like the main girl and she's talking to her love. Yeah, that other girl's waiting for you. Go get her. And then it just shows the aftermath of that. So right away, I love that. I love this kind of story where it's all these girls, they get the short end of the stick when it comes to the romance. And it's so fitting that the main girl of this is blue hair because that's the trope. That's the gag. The blue hair girl never wins. This is one of those shows where it's like production-wise, no complaints. Animation, art direction, it feels like one of those ones where I feel like this was gonna be a movie, but they're like, let's make it a show, but not change the animation or anything at all, because this show is stunning. And it's made by A1, which over the years, my opinion of A1 has been like this, but in more recent times, it's been going up. They've been making bangers. Yeah, every time a new episode of this drops, I'm just like, yes. Hell, there's a new episode that came out today. I should have watched it before making this review. But aside from obviously the production side of things, the story was actually really good. Again, I love that concept of taking these girls who get rejected by, in their view, the main guy. And then there's our guy, Nukumizu, who's like, you know, he doesn't care about all that. He's a side character, but yet, like, by the end of this, he's gonna have his harem of rejected heroines. It's a story that I'm very fascinated to see the long term of it. I'm curious. It's not done. Oh, it's a light novel? Ugh, fuck it. Come on, man. I need pictures. Oh, wait, there is a manga. It's not finished. I'll jump into the manga once this first season's done. It's beautiful. Again, it reminds me of kind of like the style of a Shinkai film. The voice acting's really good. The characters in it are really fun and engaging, and I look forward to seeing the end of this first season, and I look forward to seeing where the story goes from here. Overall, in terms of like a dark horse, in terms of what I expected to be good, I did not expect much from this going into it, and I was thoroughly surprised, and I absolutely recommend it. Honestly, easy 9 out of 10 so far. First season's not done yet, but just from what I've seen of it, it deserves that rank. Speaking of dark horse, Pseudo Harem. Eiji Kitahama has a dream shared by many high school guys to be popular and have a harem of girls fawning over him. Luckily for him, his new junior in the drama club, Rin Nanakura, has decided to help him realize this wish. Using her impressive acting abilities, she takes on many personalities, from teasing to calm and collected to tsundere, to play characters in Eji's simulated harem. As her connection with Eji deepens, Rin expands her repertoire, quickly swapping between characters while enjoying high school life together in the club. Through her acting, the real Rin Nanakura tries her best to win Eji's heart. Concept-wise, I was hooked already. I was like, I love this idea. I mean, I'm a fan of harems, but I love this idea of just like, this one girl will take on all personalities. She saw the 100 girlfriends and was like, I will be all of them. I'm gonna be honest about this. When I watched the last episode of this season, I cried. This was the most unexpected show, I think. I mean, I heard about the concept before I even went into it, and I read like the synopsis before I clicked the first episode. Right away, I was so hooked on it. It's done by Studio Nomad, who I'm not familiar with. They have done a lot of stuff I have not watched. I think just the main part of it is just, again, I loved that idea, and I loved how it was executed in this, of her swapping between the different personalities, and also like it all being in the basis of like drama and acting, which of course I have a personal connection with. And I love that at the basis of it all, it's two people who genuinely love each other. And I guess spoilers, but this first season, I think, adapts the entire story. I mean, I feel like it does. I mean, the manga was only 150 chapters, and I feel like it covered all that, with maybe some stuff that was probably obviously cut out. Just because the way this ends, yeah, that's the full story. Fuck it, spoiler warning, this follows their entire romance story. Like, you know, from them meeting, them growing close to each other, confession afterwards, him graduating and going to college, some turmoil there, them looking forward to the future, and then it ends with them getting married. We get the beginning, the middle, the end, and perfect. And yet somehow it left me wanting more. I guess that's where the manga can come in, I guess, where I can read it and see some of the stuff that maybe was cut out or taken out, certain scenes, but oh my god, this story was so beautiful. And even still, like, because again, Nomad, I'm not familiar with them as an animation studio, but it was a style that I felt was very unique, mainly in like their faces and just how it was done. And of course, the main girl is voiced by Saori Hayami, who of course has done iconic voices such as Shinobu from Demon Slayer, as well as Yor from Spy Family. Her voice for Rin was perfect. It's just how the two bounced off of each other as characters. The chemistry was off the charts. And honestly, in terms of a romance story, it was perfect. Just because it covered like every aspect of it. The fact that it went beyond just like the confession, it wasn't just the last episode. I have such more appreciation for stories, especially romance stories that do that, where it's just like, in 12 episodes, here's the entire story. We could stretch it out longer, but we won't. And yet, that leaves me wanting more, despite the shows that do stretch it out, and I don't want any more from those. It squeaked a tear for me by the end. I grew to love these characters so much, but yet there's some part of me that just can't give it a 10 out of 10, but I will gladly give it a 9 out of 10. A beautiful romance story. And alright, last two I'll talk about this, since even though I'm watching it week to week on the channel, this will be sort of, I guess, my checkpoint to talk about it. Oshi No Ko Season 2. Again, I'm doing reactions to this week to week as it's been coming out on the channel, just because Oshi No Ko Season 1 was fucking one of my favorite shows that came out at the time, and this second season, man, I'm looking forward to seeing the final 2 episodes of this season, especially coming off the latest episode, which was fucking crazy. After finishing the play arc, the Tokyo Blade arc, I will say there is some part of me that maybe didn't enjoy it as much as the first season, but I think it's just mainly because we were just stuck in one place for a while. We were stuck on just one arc, but now that we're done with that, it's cool seeing just the story really developing now. Whereas like season 1, we kind of delved a lot more with the romance side of things, and while this season does do that as well, we're going story heavy. We're getting into the thick of the plot. Though I still do love, obviously, the romance and the characters in it. The supernatural side of things, our main character being reborn from a previous life, and just his lust for revenge, and how this season has been tackling that, I thought was amazing and beautiful, if nothing else. I feel like that's just been the word I've been giving to a lot of these shows so far. Beautiful. So far for season 2, I give it an easy 8.5 out of 10, just because comparatively to season 1 so far, again, there's still 2 more episodes, and I feel like it's gonna really leave it on a cliffhanger. Though I've had a lot more personal investment because of obviously the acting and play side of things that this season tackled, I'm still sort of wanting that little bit more. All right, the final show that I will touch on, I'm sure you could guess what it is. Though, honestly, I don't think it was my overall favorite of the season. I still really enjoyed it, and overall I think it was the most popular thing that came out of this season. That of course being Alya sometimes hides her feelings in Russian. Basic synopsis: we have Alya, she's half Russian, half Japanese, works with the student council. We have our main guy, Masachika Kuze. He slacks off, he doesn't have interest in a lot of things, but yet he's actually like the smartest motherfucker. They sit next to each other in class, they talk. She teases him because she speaks Russian and thinks that he can't understand him, but he actually does. I would say deep down, but she pretty openly has a crush on him, and possibly vice versa. And it goes into this whole thing where Alya is gonna run for student council president, but to do that, she has to go against Kuze's sister, Yuki, who previously those two were like a dynamic duo, but yet he's taken such an interest in Alya. And ultimately, one of the things I have to praise best about this show is that it has such a deep story. Going in as I was expecting like, yeah, this is gonna be a pretty well-animated, wholesome romance story. And while it is that, the other side of it, the scheming, the drama, the relationship between Kuze and Yuki, their brother-sister dynamic, which the internet loves so much, and well, I love it too. Just the two-faced scheming between the two of them. Them both coming from this family, this like well-off family where it's like, Kuze, you were meant to be the prodigy of the family and all that. It's a story that has 2 stories to it. That side of it, and then also just the romance with Alya, which is funny because it, you know, it's Yuki and Kuze, like their family is like the big part of it, but yet this story is called Alya Hides Her Feelings in Russian. So it's weird because I feel like Alya takes the back seat in the story that she is the named character of. In all intents and purposes, she's the main character. But holy shit, man. Studio Doga Kobo, who conveniently enough also has done Oshi No Ko. They've also done, oh, the Shikamori show. My Senpai's Annoying. A lot of fun stuff. But this one I feel like was like their cream of the crop. Now, of course, this show definitely did the thing that I feel like a lot of shows are doing, especially romance ones, where they hit you with a really spicy scene in the first episode to really hook you. That, of course, being the sock scene, which, of course, I saw well before I even watched the show. And while there are many more scenes similar to that throughout the course of the show, many of which involving Yuki, the characters of this show were very fun. They are not new characters by any means, but it was a refreshing take on them. Especially, like, let's be fair, the best character in this so far was Yuki. Oh, yeah, she's sweet. Love when she bounces between Russian and Japanese, and Kuze understands her, but she doesn't know that. But Yuki, just her two-faced of, like, when she's at school, she's like the prim and proper, beautiful, just councilman member. But when she's at home with her brother, she's just like the otaku, fucking loud ass, fucking wincest for the win kind of character, and I love her. And I love the dynamic between the two of them, and I loved especially in the last episode what has turned from brother-sister love into such strong rivalry, and I'm very curious to see it going into the future. And I loved immediately, like before even the last episode came out, season 2 has already been greenlit, and yeah, can't wait for that. I hope it was a case that they were already working on season 2 before season 1 came out. We don't have to wait as long. I think one of my favorite parts about this was the last episode. It didn't feel like a stereotypical like finale episode. Like there was no confession, no kiss, and it wasn't even like, oh yay, we're student council president now. It was just them giving their introductions. It was almost like this was the end of the prologue kind of thing. It was the end of like the first chapter in a sense. It's a show that I am definitely going to rewatch now, because I'm gonna be honest, when I started watching this was when I was was very sick still. I still enjoyed it though. It's what gave me life during that period of time, but it's very beautiful, very fun. I foresee this becoming possibly one of my favorite romance shows. Sucks that there's no manga. Well, there is a manga, but I think it being made in conjunction with the anime, because like I was reading it and then like it's not even caught up to where the anime is. But the light novel is the original thing. I'm not going to because I need pictures, because I'm a fucking visual freak. The more I think about it and the more I'm just gonna rewatch it and just do stuff on it. This show was really fucking good. Honestly, I don't know if it was my overall favorite of the season. I think Pseudo Harem might earn that, and honestly, once Too Many Losing Harems maybe ends, that might be my favorite as well. I feel like it's a three-way tie for first place between this show and those two. This one might just edge it out though. And overall, fuck it. Overall, I don't know if I can give it a 10 out of 10, but I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10. And I really cannot wait to see season 2. Oh yeah, all right, that was the summer 2024 anime season. Now, of course, I guess our little teaser, what do we have to look forward to for the fall 2024 season? Oh, of course, ReZero season 3, Dan, which I heard is really, really good. I can't wait to see that. Oh, duh, of course, Dragon Ball Daima is gonna be coming out. The last thing that Toriyama worked on, which of course I am going to be doing reactions to that, and I'll be doing the reactions to season 3 of ReZero as well. Oh yeah, the show where my wife turned into a 10-year-old. I forgot about that. Oh yeah, Toilet Bound Hanako-kun Part 2. Can't wait to see that. I actually really enjoyed the first season of that as well. It's funny, like, looking at this, it's like a lot of one-off stuff, but, you know, it's possible that a lot of this one-off stuff could be really good. That's the fun of it. In terms of big stuff, that's gonna be a lot of the big ones. This is gonna be a pretty good season. I can't wait. So yes, this was the summer 2024 season. An overall pretty good season. A very romance-heavy season. And well, as always, do be sure to join me in another 12 to 13 weeks when we cover the fall 2024 season. That'll probably be one of the last videos I make this year. And join me for many other videos of the sort, be they future anime reviews, reactions, gameplay, and everything else that'll be coming out soon. Until next time, I'm Lancer. Thanks for watching.